So in this video, we're going to solve a system of equations, and we're going to solve it by graphing. So remember, a system of equations is two or more equations that share the same variables. So here we have an equation on the top, y equals 4x minus 1, and an equation in the bottom, 3x plus 2y equals 9. So two unique equations. Both of these equations are different. They both have the exact same variables. So this one has an x and a y. This one has an x and a y. So they will be considered to be solved when the x and the y here on the top that solves this, makes it true, is also the same x and y that solves this one, that makes this one true. So since they share the same x and a y, so this x will be here, it will also be this x. And this y will be that y, but it will also be this y. So there's one point that fits on both of them. So what we're looking for when we do this, we're going to graph both equations, and we're looking for a point that is on both of the graphs. So I'm going to go ahead, and this is what we're going to do. I'm going to number them just to keep track of them. And we're going to graph this first equation, and then we're going to graph this second equation. We're going to graph both of them on the same XY coordinate system and then see what happens. So let's start with number one. Y equals 4x minus 1. So the y is isolated. Y is all by itself in this case. So the easiest way to graph this will be either slope-intercept form or by making a table. You can use either method. Slope-intercept method is useful. It's very fast, quick, and easy once you understand how to use it. So it uses this form right here, where the coefficient of x is the slope, m, and the constant value is b, the y-intercept. So we want to first identify the slope, find x. The number in front of it is 4. If it was just plain old x, then the number in front is 1, right? Where there's an invisible 1. So in this case, the slope is 4. Now the slope is rise over run. So what we want is not an integer, as this is, but a fraction. So we're going to change that to 4 over 1. And then our rise, the numerator, which is up, and our run is that value. Our y-intercept is -1. And so that's the value when x equals 0, 0, -1. So the way we're going to graph this is we're going to start off with the y-intercept. Going to plot that, which is at -1, 0, -1. Then we're going to use our slope to find the next point. That'll be over 1 and up 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then we make a point. It's like steps. We could find the next one by going over 1, up 4 again. 1, 2, 3, 4, but we're out of room. So now I draw the line, and it goes through those 2 points, and that's how we graph the first one. Now the second equation, 3x plus 2y, when it's in this format, notice how it's different. This is y all by itself. This one, the y value is a part of an expression on the left side with x. So it's not solved. Here the equation is solved for y in terms of x. Here it's not solved. When it's like this, the easiest way to graph this will be to use the xy intercept. Okay, so the way we're going to do that is basically making a table. And we're going to pick strategically. We're going to let x equal 0 and then find out what y would be. So we take our equation, 3x plus 2y equals 9. We replace x with 0. And then we end up with 2y equals 9. We solve this. So 2 times y equals 9. We want to get rid of that 2 by using the inverse. So instead of 2 times y, the inverse is division, the inverse of multiplication. So we're going to divide both sides by 2. And y equals 4.5. So 0, 4.5, 4.5, however you want to write it. Don't let the fractions bother you. 0, 4, there's 5, 4.5 is halfway between. You just estimate to your best ability where that point is. So that's going to be one of the points. But we need 2 points to graph it. So the next one, see here we found x equals 0 and found y, 0, 4.5. The next one, we say y equals 0, and we're going to find x. So we're going to take 3x plus 2 instead of y. We're going to replace that with 0. 3x plus 2 times 0 equals 9. 3x equals 9. Divide both sides by 3, and we have x equals 3. So here we chose y to be equal to 0, found x, and there it is. 3 equals 0. 3 equals y. I'm sorry, 3 equals x. When y is 0, 3 is x. Now we've got 2 points, 3, 0, and 0, 4.5. We can draw our line that goes past through that, and notice where these 2 points cross. Now at this particular point, which in this case is 1, 3, 1, 3 is a point on this line, and it's a point on this line. It's at the same exact time, this point makes both of these true. And that's how you solve it. So the answer would be, you could write it as 1, 3, or you could also write x equals 1, y equals 3. Those are 2 ways that you can indicate the answer. So you graph the first equation, graph the second, see where they cross, identify that point. That point is your answer.